So when you look back on the past 9 months from that first debate to now, any regrets?
Absolutely, I have regrets. But overall, I have to be very happy with the outcome. And I think if I didn't conduct myself in the way I've done it, I don't think I would have been successful, actually. When I'm wounded, I go after people hard, okay? And I try and unwound myself.
Now you're steps away from the presidency. Have you given any thought in this position to the power that your messaging has?
I have. And I see suffering. I see tremendous suffering, and I understand it. I have a very big heart.
That was a fun-sized bite of Donald J. Trump billionaire's interview with Megyn Kelly that aired on Fox broadcast channel last night. Here to talk to us about Donald Trump's once fraught and now pretty chummy relationship with both Fox News and Rupert Murdoch and his empire, the national affairs editor, the author, Gabe Sherman of New York Magazine. Gabe, thanks for coming in. So you have another great piece inside Fox talking about why Rupert Murdoch has dropped what he had expressed for a long time on Twitter and elsewhere about reservations about Trump. Why has he now basically thrown in with Trump?
Business. Trump is the Republican nominee, and he has to get on board. Fox News, the audience of Fox, during this whole feud with Trump, the audience was totally on Trump's side. It was really only a select group of Fox anchors, mainly in Washington, who was part of this sort of anti-Trump crowd, and they were on the opposite side.
Anchors and commentators like Charles Cronin.
Yeah, and Rich Lowry. But now that Trump is the nominee, the network has to get behind him because that's what the audience wants.
Is it true that the numbers, whenever that Fox would do an anti-Trump segment, the numbers would actually
Yes, the producers would see, on the dial segment, the numbers would come down. During the feud with Megyn Kelly, all of the emails and the tweets and the social media response that Fox producers were getting were taking Trump's side. And I reported this earlier. Megyn Kelly was worried about the volume of emails and the death threats she was getting for challenging Trump. So this was a case where Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes decided this is what this is what our audience wants.
Let me challenge for a second. Interestingly enough, obviously politically he lines up more with Trump. But Fox News would do better over the next 4 years with Hillary in there because then they are the guys, throwing the stones. They always do better. Sure. Obviously, for a long-term play, one could argue for viewership, be better with Hillary in there.
Well, really, and that's a good point. I think it's a win-win, as I write. Rupert gets behind Trump in the general. If Trump wins, he has a line into the administration, like they did with George W. Bush. And if he loses, Fox is the ready-made opposition. The audience is already galvanized to oppose Hillary. So I think it's a win-win for all sides.
So the New York Post, also Murdoch property, is on board.
Yeah.
Why do Paul Gigot and the Wall Street Journal editorial board, why do they get to be independent? Doesn't that fly in the face of the notion that Rupert basically says, my empire marches in one direction?
Great point. When he bought the Wall Street Journal, he did say that they would have some more of an independent special relationship. He has honored that. And that's a great, I wonder, and I should do some reporting on that. What are those internal conversations like at the Wall Street Journal editorial board? Because when the rest of the Murdoch constellation is getting behind Trump, how can they stand alone?
I know you haven't reported this yet, although I suspect you will if it's there. It seems to me when Trump is doing these hardball negotiations with Ailes and with Murdoch, he should say to them, I hate the Wall Street Journal, fix that, or I'm not doing this, Megyn Kelly.
That's a great negotiating point. In my sit-down with Trump in March, he was ranting about a Wall Street Journal editorial. The op-ed page to him is, his bête noire. He wants to bring them to heel. That would be an amazing victory for him. If
I were Trump, if these negotiations really go the way they seem to, I'd say, I'm not doing any more Fox until you guys fix the Journal.
Well, maybe he's watching.
My suggestion, Mr. Trump.
Is there any, if you're a independent, is there any negative for Trump that Murdoch is behind? Okay, now this is the machine. Boy, you talked about stuff being rigged. Well, now it's starting to get rigged. You got the media empire behind you. You've got another titan behind you. You've got is it counterintuitive to his message about saving the little guy from the rigged system?
I think so.
Or is that too inside baseball?
I think it's too inside baseball. I think his audience is the Fox audience, and they want to see Fox cheerleading for him. One point I think that hasn't gotten a lot of talk is last night was a bad night for Megyn Kelly. She had staked out her brand, her public image, as the lone Fox anchor who would stand up to Trump in a kind of vocal way. And by caving to him, she has ceded all of that authority that she had built up.
I couldn't agree with you more.
But couldn't you get it back just on her show by going after him a little bit?
I don't think so. It was such a capitulation.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. She had such a great place as a woman, as the lone wolf, as the anti-Trump. She could have written her own ticket. I think
a step back.
She lost some of the testosterone out of her.
Got to go, man.
Okay,
thank you. Gabe Sherman.